Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I am super fortunate and lucky to have this opportunity to sit here with both Travis and Kurt. As we've been talking about over the past 3 days, we've really been focused on the moments and experiences that delight our customers. And what we really want to talk about now is how do you build out those experiences over time? And these two guys have done it within their respective organizations. And just to hear about, how they've approached this, the strategy behind it, I'm just super excited. So let's just kind of start off, if you guys are okay, if you could introduce yourselves and talk a little bit about your companies, that'd be great.
Awesome. I'll go ahead and get started first, but let me just say I appreciate the opportunity to be on stage. Innovate 26, we're closing it out, but a lot of good things have happened this week. I appreciate community because I think together we all get better. And so I continue to want to support community, look at these things together, ask the right questions, wrestle with the same problems that everybody else has. Our organization is no different than anybody else. We've got plenty of challenges that we're trying to overcome. I think we do that well within community. So at Shelter Insurance, Travis Fritz, Director of Architecture and Delivery. So right now what we have going on is a major transformation to move our business to the cloud. So what we're doing is we're taking all of our homegrown systems that we've had over the last 80 years, and we're going to the cloud with Guidewire, going all in on Guidewire. So that means we're moving all of our systems. We're doing the policy center, claim center, billing center, integration gateway, and all the portals. So we're going all in. We've got an aggressive schedule. We're on track so far. We are using PwC as our implementation partner. We're on track right now, and so we expect to meet the goals and expectations that we have. So really trying to make all of our business on Guidewire in like a 29-30 position, 2029 or 2030. So that's what I've got going on right now, but also overseeing a lot of the coexistence work that has to happen to get all of your business to the cloud. And so that coexistence works are all of our services and legacy systems we have today. How's all that going to coexist together as we make this movement? Anybody that has systems today realizes you have to continue to run business as you migrate some business over time. We have a strategy to do a state-by-state rollout, but that's what I'm overseeing right now. That's what I'm looking at to try to make sure that I can come to events like this and share with others, learn from others, so again, that we don't make the mistakes other people are making, and hopefully we've done something that'll keep you from making a mistake as well.
That's great. Thanks, Travis. Kurt.
Thank you, Travis. I'm with Travis. I want to thank, first of all, Smart Communications, and specifically the people behind the scenes who put this Innovate together. I realize there's hundreds and hundreds of hours that goes into making this successful for us. For me, these things are critical because this is where I learn opportunities, right? And for me, Smart Communications open doors. They've given me opportunities that I didn't have before. At Mountain West Farm Bureau, we write in property casualty insurance in Wyoming, Montana, and Colorado. We've migrated off of our legacy system now. We completed that. Last policy rolled off last March. So we're on to the platform we chose was Guidewire, and Smart Communication does all of our documents and delivery. Excited to be here.
Yeah, thanks. So guys, I know, in your roles, day to day, you deal with solving individual problems, right? But ultimately, when it comes down to customer experience, it's really end to end. And how do you kind of, put all of those things together? Could you guys talk a little bit about that and how that's evolved at your companies and what you guys are focused on?
I can, Rich. Do you mind if I just do like the why part?
I do mind.
So let me talk about the why. I'm on stage, but it's good for everybody to understand why.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'd want to ask the same thing. If somebody's up here talking about these things, like how did they get here? How did they get in this position? And let's just be open and share about those things. And so I challenge my leadership team, those people that report to me, to constantly carry the why because it makes a difference. And if you're a person that you can understand the why, you can have other people bought into that same vision and direction that you're trying to portray. So let me give you the why of the reason that I'm on stage today at this Smart Communications event. So prior to 2020, I think it probably was a 17, 18 year position for this event that happened was at Shelter Insurance. We were transforming in our claims area a little bit, just moving systems. And I got brought in to help the migration of a system Did some work there. We had gotten through the implementation down to the SIT, the UAT phase, and figured out that we had some challenges with the document generation. And so I was called in and was asked to help try to solve some of this problem, trying to figure out what's going on. So I asked enough questions to figure out there were significant issues in the dynamic document generation in the system that we were implementing. And then I got called into a meeting with senior executives. I knew there was a real problem here. And what they explained to me was we have about half of our claims adjusters saying that they are going to quit if they have to use this product. Now, believe me, this is not something that normally would happen at Shelter Insurance. We don't have people that get sideways about these things very often. So at that point I knew, hey, this is a problem. So I'm like, okay, well, let me look at what I can do to fix it. And so then I went out, did some research, went and talked to some people, because again, I work with these individuals at Shelter. So I went and talked to them. They showed me what was going on, and it was pretty horrific. And so at that point, knew had to make an adjustment, had to be doing something here to adjust in the right ways. So took the opportunity, got some people together, we did some market analysis, and found that the best solution in market was smart communication, SmartCom. So I said, great, that's what I need. I'm not after anything other than best in market. And so I went back to that group and said, we do believe that we can implement the draft editor for dynamic documents. We can do that. Give me a team, 4 engineers, 2 sprints, and we'll get it implemented. Is that okay? It's on you. All right? But that's why I'm here today. We did that. We did that, retained the staff. We did not have our claims adjusters walk away during storm season, which was a huge thing, but we retained our staff. But we also implemented best of breed opportunity for dynamic document generation with the draft editor. So we did that, we've done that, and I'm on stage today to share back with you because again, Smart Communication has the best product in market to solve those challenges. These were real challenges, they were experienced challenges.
Yeah.
You know? When you talk about the moments of matter, that is exactly it. Those moments mattered for us as an organization and what we were doing. So I just wanted to make sure I was clear with everybody that that is why I'm here, because those are the steps we had to take. The experience was bad, but Smart Communications helped us solve that by filling that gap.
That's
okay?
great.
Yeah, filling that gap.
Yeah, Kurt, your why is pretty similar too. I know
Very
your
similar.
story. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because I started on a different path. My goal was I'm moving off a legacy system. Probably everybody in this room's got that same challenge. So in order to do that, I've got all of these documents that have to be delivered, moved over to the new system. That was my focus, right? How do I take my legacy documents and get them over to the new platform? That's really what I was looking at. I was missing the most of the picture. And so as we chose wisely, and that would be my counsel, I met with multiple of you, is choose your partners carefully because they do set you up for success. So luckily we chose Smart Communications, leader in the industry, you're not gonna get better. They helped me very quickly get to migrating those documents over. But then doors started opening up. And they came back and they said, we also have these other options that are available to you. And now I began to understand the experience that they're talking about these last couple of days, right? They're talking about being moved, and you hear a lot of the experience. A lot of us think we have a secret sauce. We're not much different than each other. Our rates or whatever might be a little different. It really comes down to how do we communicate? How do you talk to your customers? Right? In the IT world, I always tell my group I've got 3 main customers. The first one's the client out in the field. Then I've got agents, and then I've got home office staff. All of those have different needs, but they're all customers that I communicate with. They all need different experiences. So with Smart Communications, I'm able to take that and say, okay, this customer's needs are here. How do I approach that? And very easy. And Rich, if I can take a minute, I want to talk about Legos, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
And I'm sure the marketing people here, this was your goal when you set this up. But last couple of days, you've all been building Legos like myself, right? In the IT world, what we usually do is we go out and we all pick the little pants that the guy's gonna have. Maybe red, maybe blue, doesn't matter, you just pick it out.
Or maybe he doesn't have pants.
Yeah, mine did, but you could. Right? And then you pick the body and it all changes a little bit. and then you pick the head and the hair and different things like that. Now you've got your guy. To me, that is smart communications. Did anybody worry, is my body going to fit my pants? Wasn't even a consideration. You simply picked, what do I want, what was my need, and you put it together. That's smart communications. I can take SmartCom, I can take SmartPath, I can take Smart IQ, and I can connect those very easily. I'm not building bridges, right? In the IT world, we're used to saying, I've got this product, somebody went out and signed a contract and said, here, make this tool work, and now I've got to do all this work to get these to communicate. I don't have to do that. So my speed to market's much quicker. Well, then they told you to go out to these different bars and talk to the people and pick up accessories, right? Scott talked about that just a minute ago. When you picked out your accessories, were you focused on what's going to fit my guy? Wasn't even a consideration. I know I can take anything out of that tray and it's going to work with the guy that I'm designing. So if you think about that experience, that's what I'm trying to achieve, is how do I deliver to my customer? That's all of our secret sauces. We all do it differently. But that's the experience that we deliver, is how do I deliver that to my customer and help them understand that I'm trying to help them and get a positive feedback. We've implemented SmartPath.
Yeah.
It's working fantastic. I had somebody ask me, what's your feedback you're getting? Well, if you're in IT, I told them my feedback is my calls and my complaints are dropping. Right? I don't get phone calls, hey, I love that new SmartPath that you guys implemented, it's working fantastic. I can choose, do I want text, email, print? But the calls are coming down. So it's a home run.
Yeah.
So we've got a similar strategy when it comes to platform and trying to understand not only how do you put all those pieces together, but how do you evolve the pieces?
Yeah.
Right? And so another moments that matter in time is thinking about the experience that I had last year, June 11th and 12th. And so if you're tracking with June 11th and 12th of last year and you were in Traverse City, you were at a user group. You were at a Smart Communications user group in Traverse City. And so we spent some time at that user group. Yeah. And there's a moment that I remember that was transformational for us as an organization when it comes to platform strategy. Was there anybody else at that user group that's here in Traverse City? Anybody? Okay, some folks in the back. Yeah, we had some people that were there. So some interesting things came out of that. It was a great user group experience. We got together, we did some things, great event. But it actually was the day after that made a difference for us. And this is the way it played out from a platform strategy perspective. Now, overall at Shelter, we do have a strategy in place of how do we evolve our digital ecosystem. What's it going to look like? We're choosing platform and cloud first. We're platform over product. We believe if we're using a platform, we can evolve the experience better than going out and ripping and replacing functionality, okay? So we definitely have a process in place to evolve functionality. The second part is we do believe that customer experience can be a growth engine. We think if you're good with the customer experience, it can be a growth engine as well. And we believe coming out of that, you'll be able to surface things that are hidden bottlenecks that are keeping you from being your very best when it comes from the digital experience. So those are our three kind of aspects that we look at when we look at the pattern that we have in place for us to grow as an organization. But let me back into that in the sense that we had something significant happen there in Traverse City. So we were up there, but we decided to stay a day later. The next day, we did not fly out till later in the day, and we spent some time together as a team. Glory, Stamper, Ryan Smith, who were on the stage with me yesterday to accept our awards, you guys probably saw them, but we stayed together as a team and spent some time in Traverse City. And we picked a coffee shop downtown, and as a team got together and produced a strategy to take what we learned coming out of that user group and looked at gap analysis, took that overlay and put it across the products that we just learned about in that user group, and systematically walked down the list of these. Now, this is the practical part of how you have to manage at the platform level. Looked across all of those gaps that we have across our architecture and said, for this gap, do we believe that there's something we just saw that can fill that gap? If it's yes, then write it down. Wow. Then we're going to have to confirm that back with Smart Communications and make sure we're on the right path, because we're not experts in this space. But we know our gaps, so then we move to the next gap. Doing the same thing as we continue to walk that out from a gap analysis perspective, we're looking at it because we do believe that our best position is at the platform level. So today, we expect within shelter, when we have gaps or features that are needed to be delivered, we look at the smart communications platform first. What we found coming out of that engagement was that we did have some gaps that now we're going to close with Smart IQ. We're actively engaged in that. So we have SmartCom now. We will be implementing Smart IQ functions for some of those gaps that we identified. But unless we're doing that analysis to try to lay that over the gap analysis that we have within our organization, we don't even understand we should be talking about this. Now, what ended up happening there was we were a little bit off. We thought that this was a smart path position, so we had to confirm with our smart communications reps, hey, this is what we believe we need to do here. They say, well, you're close, but you're a little off, right? You're a little off on this. But we needed that level of guidance. But they didn't know how to guide us until we brought that to you guys and said, hey, this is what we're going to do. And you're like, it looks great, but we really think it's this product.
So how important, I mean, it sounds like vendor relationship. You guys have both talked about this. We've talked about this before. Vendor relationship is super critical, right? As you guys are building out these platforms, et cetera, and having them as trusted advisors, right, in the direction that you're taking. Yeah. So can you talk a little bit about that as well, Kurt?
Rush, I think Rich, you just outlined it for me is my experience in the past, early part of my career, was you'd buy a product and you basically took it, you built it, you managed it, you did it.
Yeah.
Now when we have needs, it's a partnership, right? When they're there, they're not a vendor, they're my partner. And in my mind, and we talk about this with all my vendors, it's an important distinction. A vendor is someone who comes in and wants to sell me, wants me to buy something. A partner is someone who comes in and helps me build and get better. Rich is a partner. So I can go to him and I can say, here's my need, and he counsels with me and says, here's what we can do, or you ought to be looking at this product, or here's some other options to do. So that's a game changer in today's world. There's just too much out there, right? There's too many needs to build all these different systems that you can't build a big enough IT team. Someone made the comment yesterday that the developers, the engineers will tell you, yeah, we can build that. It'll take me 6 years to build that. They can, but you don't have the time to wait for that. So those partner relationships are critical because you're the experts in delivery of documents and communication. I'm not.
Yeah.
So I've got to build on that.
Yeah, and as a vendor partner, we take it upon ourselves to give you a hard time as much as we can as well. So
you do.
Yeah.
You know,
it works well.
You know, it's always an interesting back and forth. And the reality is, I think in any kind of partnership, you want to challenge each other.
Absolutely.
Now, I'll say that we have also stepped up our game, to your point, Kirk. Like, this is important that it's managed well. We've gone to the extremes of even creating a brand new role within our organization to do just that. Nice. We just formed it. Just moved Glory Stamper into that role. This is her role. Enterprise Solutions Lead. She manages the relationships that we need for enterprise adoption within our organization. We felt like that we needed to make that level of a move to bring in a new role that is so different than anything we've ever had within our organization because we want to win. We want to win. Like, there's no question.
For sure.
We want to win. So we need the commitment. We need people to understand within our organization we're doing something different here. It's not business as usual. We're going to have to work differently if we're going to expect that we're using platforms instead of products. Because the management of that's very different. You have to understand the products. You have to understand your partners. You have to build those relationships. You have to do the things we're doing here together today, right?
Absolutely.
Talking through these things. I think this is great, just the forum that we have to have normal conversations about this stuff. I mean, I think that's tremendous. I think we should do more of that in insurance. It doesn't have to be formal conversations.
Right.
These can be just like what we're doing right now. Hey, what challenge do you have? How can you help me?
You know, one thing I learned from that is we talked about those doors and stepping through those doors and other opportunities starting to come up, right? We've actually had Rich come into our main office and bring in the business side of our company and talk about what other opportunities are available. So I give you an example. We implemented SmartPath. That's working well. And then all of a sudden, I have other departments start coming saying, hey, I'm having these challenges in these other areas. Any way you could help me? So now we're taking our web communication and moving that and feeding that same stream into SmartPath. So as people are wanting to reach out to an agent, SmartPath passes that communication. It has nothing to do with our policy guidewire system.
Yeah.
So other customers, home office people are now reaching out. I'm pushing Rich because we want to start Smart IQ. That's because I've got 3 different departments saying, I need this in, how quick can I have it?
Yeah. Yeah, and that actually leads to my next question. So we've talked about a lot about vendor partner relationships, et cetera, and people make a difference. Obviously, technology and the platform is super critical for what you guys are doing. But also internally for you guys, culturally, organizationally, what are some of the challenges that you guys have faced there? I mean, you had the one example, Kurt, but what are some other key things that you guys face every day, just internally, culturally, and organizationally that you address all the time?
What I would say is the work I'm doing daily, the harder part of it is not the technical aspect. It's the cultural aspect. And you'd be surprised. I have many conversations with many people every day who just need to be reassured about the vision, and we're going to get there. Right?
Yeah, sure.
But what you do is you're planting those seeds over time. Right? There's an understanding of that we're on the right path because we're actually getting to the places where we expect to be on time. And when you're doing that, people start to understand there's a vision that's been cast and we're all on the same path. Now, it's not easy. You'd be surprised how many times I talk to people and the answer has to be, it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
I mean, transformation, change is difficult. We're humans. You have to tell people, it's going to be all right. Like, I got this, right? We're going to get there. We're going to win. We're on the road. We're going to go. Like, come along, right? Some people get on the path quicker than others. That's the reality, But you have to manage that aspect of it. There are going to be people who are laggards on any of this kind of stuff, and there are going to be people that want to be right there with you. Like, talk to those people that want to be right there with you.
Yeah.
Then over time, you get more and more of the snowball impact that we got more people doing these things. Because in insurance, there needs to be a large level of transformation in organizations to get to where you need to be. If you want to change those experiences, I mean, those experiences are rooted. We're an 80-year-old insurance company. They're rooted.
I was going to say, Kurt, at Mountain West, I mean, the history there is very lengthy. How many times did you hear, hey, we're just doing that because that's the way it's been?
That's the way it's always been, right? I always tell our group, we had the best looking documents there ever was. Unfortunately, it was 1970. And that's really where we were at. And so we took those and we moved them to the new platform. Well, now we're back into how do we really want to communicate? Most of your customers, if you're in property and casualty anyway, you may talk to your agent once in a while, but I get a bill, I get my policy documents, and if I have a claim, that's where it really kicks in. And that's my communication. And so I talk with them and I say, we need to look at redesigning these forms. But, again, the regulators and all the different things you hear, right?
Yeah.
This has to be this way. And so trying to get them to think differently. Last month, Rich, I had one of the product owners came to me and they said, hey, I'm setting up a meeting because we have a portal where we contain a whole bunch of documents that they're 1970 version documents, and they wanted to go out and see, could we kind of clean these up? So they were forming a committee to do this. I said, well, explain to me what you do with these documents. Well, depending on the kind of coverage they write, you may need additional documents that I have to download, email to the customer. Customer writes on it, scans it, and sends it back to us. Think about that in today's world, right?
Right.
And so I tried to explain them, and for me, that's really the key, is you've got to show them opportunities of things they can do differently. If you just say, we're going to change this, they panic, because that's my world. I live in that world, and if you throw a pebble in my pond, I've got to deal with that. But I have much better success when I sit down. I've brought Rich in multiple times. And said, teach us how this can progress. And all of a sudden, now I've got people on the boat with me wanting to get that change. So I sent my business analyst to that meeting, and I said, go in and listen to what they're saying and help them understand opportunities that they can do with SmartCom. Now again, I've got a backlog. We've got to get all this stuff away from what we're doing over to SmartCom, because you've really got to stay in front of them over and over and over until that mind shift changes that Travis was talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Within organizations, if you think about your own organization, do you know the decision makers? Do you know the people that are empowered to lead in certain areas? Now, I do more of this on the technical side than I do on the business side, but obviously I have those bridges of communication to know the business desires. What I've found within our organization is challenging because over time, there's not some one person that knows everything that can make a single decision.
Yeah.
So someone has to be constantly understanding the landscape and how it's changing to engage with people to determine what direction are we going. Because today at Shelter Insurance, like, we are transforming. So our direction's changing almost daily. Like, we're finding our ways, but that has to be more of the norm than it's ever been in the past, you know. But for me, what I find also is sometimes our technical folks will be very resistant to changes, and you start asking the question, why? Okay, why are you resistant? Well, this is how we do it. Same thing the business says, this is how we do it. These are the systems that we have. Well, the question is, why are we doing it that way?
Yeah.
And sometimes there's not any answers because the people that built those things are no longer here. They're retired or they've moved on, right? So you do have to get to a place to try to figure out, to make the right movement from a cultural perspective, you have to have somebody that you can trust to set direction and make decisions. So technically, on the technical side, so that's myself. So our solution architects, our engineers would come to me and say, what are we going to do with this? And I'll give a direction.
Yeah.
I might get, are you sure? I'm like, I'm sure, yeah, that's what we're going to do, right? But you'd be surprised. Even the people that own the systems and understand our systems still are somewhat resistant to that. Now, the reason, though, is like over time, you have to try and find ways to bring that decision-making down to a capability that's manageable. You have to be able to do that. What people don't understand, though, is the work that it takes behind the scenes, that I've already had all the conversation with the senior leaders to know what direction we need.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of getting all that lined up. But that's some of the cultural challenges that I see as hurdles within organizations.
For sure.
Of those pieces of it is decision-making. Who is empowered to make the right decisions at what time? That has to be something to be brought forward if you expect to make significant change.
I agree, and I think it's important. A winning team builds excitement, right? And so if you have success, that's the best way to make culture change.
Yeah, that's
right.
Such a
Otherwise,
good point.
it's always going to be combative. Once you start winning, people see that, they want to be on that team.
Yeah. 100%.
And so the culture begins to change much quicker.
That's a great point. Yeah. So guys, this is, so far been great. I know you have SmartCom, Smart IQ, basically the same thing, but Smart Path. So my question to you guys is, you're building out these platforms. What's next for you? And as a sales rep, I'm going to be taking notes. So no, but seriously, like what's on the horizon? What are some of the things that are top of mind for you guys moving into the coming years? So
for us, Smart IQ is top of our plate, is where we're headed. Right, we want that two-way communication, be able to send things out. And again, it's experience, right? So hands down, Smart IQ, and then taking what we've already built and moving it to the next level. This story's never going to end.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we won't be buying as many products because we've got them, but we've got to build on what we've got. Now we're going out to the trades and grabbing accessories and putting them onto that guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
How about for you, Travis?
Yeah. So our platform strategy gives me the opportunity to ask you the same question. What products are you going to deliver for me on the platform?
Oh,
because
good.
that's what informs, like when you have a strategy at a platform level, what I'm looking at is how do I evolve the experiences? I don't want to go off platform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So I'm going to look at all of the products on the platform
makes sense.
before I go off platform at any time. So the question really is, okay, how are we going to innovate together?
Yeah.
What are going to be the other products that will be there on platform? Because that's what will be in view for me.
Yeah,
If they make it to platform, it's an easy decision for me.
absolutely.
Yeah, but that's our platform strategy. Again, we're going to constantly do that to pick up that strategy, but it has to be managed. And that's kind of the partnership, too, is trying to figure out, even from a roadmap readout and the products that you're expecting to turn around over time, or the adjustments that you need on the products that you have on the platform, I'm all ears.
Yeah,
Because that is a part of our strategy. If we're doing that, we'll win.
yeah, that's great.
The reality is today, if you don't have a strategy at the platform level and you're expecting that you're still selecting products as one-off products,
You'll never
it's going to be hard to evolve those products and have a consistent customer experience. Extremely difficult.
Yeah.
Extremely difficult. Now, but you have to make sure that you have the right partnerships. We believe we do at Shelter with Smart Communications, that they're going to continue to innovate and bring products to their platforms. They own a huge part of our success, to be honest. You guys do. I mean, you own a big part of it. We will win together. I believe that,
That's
right?
right.
But you guys own a part of that
Completely
because
agree.
you're going to own that experience. If we expect to evolve that experience, you guys have to bring those products to platform.
Yeah, it is a true partnership, right? So, great. Hey, you guys, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the time you spent with us, and certainly appreciate your business, and looking forward to the coming years and what's next for both your organizations. So
Thank you for
certainly
your
appreciate it.
partnership.
Yeah, thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
So now, yeah, thank you.